Japan Airlines flight has caught fire on the runway at Tokyo's Haneda airport. Ongoing live pictures for you, extraordinary pictures that we've been witnessing over the last half an hour or so. Well, a spokesperson for the airline said the aircraft, which had come from an airport in Hokkaido, which served the Sapporo area in northern Japan, had originated from there, and that all 379 people on board, that's 367 passengers and 12 crew members, were evacuated. Let's give you a little bit more detail about what we do know that has happened. The country's Coast Guard said they were looking at the possibility that one of its planes crashed into the plane, thought to be on the runway. We do now know that this is expected to be JAL Flight 516 from the Sapporo airport in Hokkaido, as I said. It's about an hour and 40 minutes flight from there to Tokyo, from the north of Tokyo down to the south to where Tokyo is. And a former BA pilot talking to Kay last hour saying that the crew had done an extraordinary good job to get everyone off. We are awaiting further updates from the Coast Guard to have them confirmed as to the status of the believed 6 passengers on board that smaller plane. Let's bring in Tim Atkinson, who is an aviation consultant and a pilot himself. And Tim, just to recapture what we've learned in the headlines from it, it seems that the fire began once the plane had landed and clearly has spiraled since then. The status of it now, as we look at it, makes it all the more remarkable that the 379 passengers on the Japan Airlines flight, at least, were evacuated.
Yes, my perception from the limited information available so far is that the fire began at the moment of the collision between the two aircraft, and caused by the forces involved, probably the release of fuel involved at the time, and the fire is now clearly, if these are live images that we're watching, and I suspect they may be just a little older than that, the fire's completely taken hold of the aircraft structure. It's a composite structure, so it burns in a different way to the way a metal structure would burn. And having dealt with composite aircraft, which have been very well and truly alight as this one is left with a pile of fibres and ash at the end of it. There are obviously some very high temperatures involved here. I suspect that there is fuel burning there, although that is conjecture rather than fact. And really, as an accident investigator, my focus is on what happened much longer ago, on how the two aircraft came to collide, and the moments up until all those who could be saved were saved. It's clearly, if reports are correct that everybody evacuated this aircraft successfully, then that is fabulous news. It'll be important for investigators to look into how and why that was achieved, especially in the challenging circumstances. I mentioned that when we still had visibility of the escape door, in fact, you can just see it now, just where the fall of firefighting media, we're just losing it from the frame there. That was the escape door just forward of the wing on the left-hand side of the aircraft, which was clearly closed. In an evacuation, ideally, you want all of the exits open, you want all of the slides to deploy normally, you want everyone to get down the slides rapidly. It appears to me that door was not used in the evacuation, so that's even more remarkable. It is something people train for, but it makes the probability of getting everyone out less likely. And certainly the images I've seen of the moments immediately after the collision indicate that the fire, as it started, was not insignificant. There was clearly proper burning going on, if I can use those terms, from the moment of collision onwards. And in this context, it's enormously heartening to see that everybody reportedly at the moment has got out of this aircraft